Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, and welcome to a just about post week 2 edition of NFL No Cap right here on the executive YouTube network. Also, want to welcome in our newest audience, 1029 The Game. You guys make sure you hit me up on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, right? So, NFL No Cap basically is my weekly truths about what's going on in the NFL. This is when I transform into from the fantasy executive to no cap Corey. Because one thing about me is if I see it, I gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go through some of the things I've seen in the NFL this week and give my commentary on it, whether it be good or bad. Sometimes the criticism can be harsh, but every time it's warranted, and it's definitely the truth because it is NFL no cap. And I want to spend some time today talking about head coaches and how head coaches relate to the product that we see on the field every Sunday. Because, yes, this is a quarterback league per se, but what gets done and what goes on with head coaches really is a big part of what happens on a week to week basis. I mean, when it's all boils down to it, only one person is going to leave a season with a win loss record attached to their name. That's going to be the head coach. So I want to touch on some head coaching situations going on right now and give you my opinion on them. Some good, mainly most of them negative. And let's start with the complete dumpster fire that is the Denver Broncos. Now, I have spent a lot of time being very critical of one Mr. Russell Wilson, the celebrity quarterback, red carpet Russ. The great Bill Parcells, legendary head coach, always say, can't do it with a celebrity quarterback. And Sean Payton, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, comes from Bill Parcells' coaching tree. So he knows it's not going to fly with a celebrity quarterback. And that's exactly what Russell Wilson is. That's why he told him enough kissing the effing babies. That's why when he first got the gig and he got to Denver, that's why he initially, let me tell you something. Every time a head coach is talking, they're either talking to the media, to the fan base, or to their players. Sean Payton wasn't just firing off at the lip when he said what a terrible job Nathaniel Hackett did last year. He was sending a message to Russell Wilson like, listen, Russ, I got your back, but I already knew that as soon as something changed, as soon as Russell Wilson started showing who Russell Wilson was, that Sean Payton was going to get ready to run him out of town. That's what Sean Payton was doing. He's preparing to run Russell Wilson out of town. He is going to be benched at some point this season, Russell Wilson. And you know what? Deservedly so, it's going to happen. Now, but here's the thing. I want to talk about Sean Payton because you see in that game yesterday, Sean Payton's team that he is the head coach of had a 21-3 lead in the first half of that game. So, wait a minute. You blow an 18-point lead to a team led by Sam Howell that's offensively challenged anyway, that struggled with the Arizona Cardinals last week, and the first thing you do when you come to the podium is point the finger at Russell Wilson and his sharpness in the huddle. Yeah, I get it. Wilson turned the ball over a couple times, and he deserves it, and I'll get on him for that. But Sean Payton, you blew an 18-point lead to the Commanders, a team that can barely move the football. That was you. That was your team. You managed the game, Sean Payton. You got the audacity to call out Nathaniel Hackett, and you blow an 18-point lead to Sam Howell, making his first career start on the road? Are you serious? Some audacity. Listen, that situation in Denver is a dumpster fire. Sean Payton is going to outlast Russell Wilson, but I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out there in the Rocky Mountains. Coach Prime and Shador, quarterback-coach duo, getting it done in Boulder. The duo in Denver is a disaster, and it's going to end up wrecking this Denver Broncos season. But Sean Payton will win out, and the Walmart people just going to have to eat that big, ridiculous contract they gave to Russell Wilson. Russ is cooked. Russ is washed. But Sean Payton, you don't even get to duck the smoke just because he turns the ball over. It was still, you're the head coach. That's your team, and that's a terrible performance. Speaking of terrible performances, let's talk about how the New York Giants started the game yesterday. Like, the Giants showed up like they was up to 2:30 at night on the East Coast watching Coach Prime like the rest of us. Sad situation. It makes no sense that Brian Daboll, a head coach I like, got to go into the locker room and raise Cane at halftime to get y'all to come out and perform to your best. And I'm sure that's what he was doing in there, raising Cane at halftime, because y'all came out second half. New York Giants, the G-men looked focused. They looked like the good team from last year. See, the hardest thing in sports and in life to do is to go from being good to being great. And what you saw with the New York Giants is as soon as they got good, everybody had their hand out. They gave Jones that ridiculous contract. They didn't want to do work with Saqoun Barkley, but then he comes and signs basically the same deal. They played Andrew Thomas. They paid Dexter Lawrence. As soon as these guys got up some wins and looked like a good team that was improving, everybody had their hand out, wanted to get paid, and then it became a problem. Then that Giants locker room could be fractured a little bit. And that happens. Not because of Daboll. The players had to get paid, but you see that looks like it's a little bit of selfishness in that locker room. Now you got Saqoun Barkley injured, coming into a short week. I think the New York Giants are good, but the Giants are closer to the Detroit Lions, the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears than they are to the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and 49ers. Last time they played the Cowboys, 40-0. Got smacked in the playoff game versus the Eagles. Probably get smacked this Thursday night versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Giants are not an elite NFC team. They should be able to play good enough to not fall down that far behind the damn Arizona Cardinals. I like Daboll. He's a good coach. Shouldn't have to raise Cane to get that team to perform up to expectations. But there could be a culture issue inside that locker room. Let's go to Cincinnati. Had that home loss yesterday to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to talk about the Ravens in a second. People say, oh, no big deal. The Bengals start the year 0-2 every year. Then they come back and they beat the Bengals. Then I'm thinking to myself, it's unacceptable to consistently start the season 0-2 when you got the whole offseason to get ready for the beginning of the season. You already know what you're walking into. Why do you always lose these games? I've been thinking this for a while now. If I see it, I got to say it. No cap Corey here. But I think Joe Burrow be bailing Zac Taylor out. I'm not sure Zac Taylor know what the hell he's doing as the head coach of this team. A 0-2 start every year is unacceptable. Oh, we're still going to be fine and we're going to make it. Yes, that could be the case. But why are you starting the season off so poorly? And why your quarterback keep getting hurt? Now, I understand the calf strain is a thing that, a muscle, soft tissue injury. It could happen. I'm not so sure I trust Zac Taylor. And now, especially with Joe Burrow banged up, I always start to worry a little bit about this Bengal team. Let me tell you why. Everybody's saying, oh, it's nothing to worry about. Yeah, it is something to worry about. 0-2 with 2 losses in the division. The quarterback is hurt. He needs to be resting. Those are 2 things you can't just overlook and say, okay, we're going to bounce right back. We're going to be there. Let me tell you something. When an injury situation happens, the most optimistic person about the injury is always the player. Joe Burrow didn't seem optimistic about this injury. I think he's going to miss a few weeks, and this injury could be serious. I would slow down on the Bengal hype train right now because I think Burrow is really spraying deodorant on Zac Taylor. I'm worried Zac Taylor don't know what the hell he's doing. And let me tell you something. You're in a bad division not to know what the hell you're doing. John Harbaugh's in this division. Hall of Fame head coach Mike Tomlin in this division. Yeah, so is Kevin Stefanski. But listen, this ain't the wrong place. It's the wrong division, the wrong conference to fall behind in and think you're just going to get stuff done. You got to come out there and start starting the seasons better, and now your quarterback is hurt. Don't think it's going to be a cakewalk this year, Cincinnati. Now, it could be a cakewalk for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not the biggest Mike McDaniels guy, but I think what he's doing offensively is innovative. I think he's getting his players in good spots. I think his guys like playing for him. I think he has a little bit of an edge to him. I like how he is, swagged out, good confidence. I think he's an interesting coach. Now, I want to see what he's like when the shit hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what he's like when adversity strikes. That's when you're really going to be tell what these guys are made of. Yeah, when you're winning and you're running and Tyreek Hill has 215 yards and Jalen Waddle is waddling in the end zone, it's all fun and games then. But what about when it's January and you got to go to Arrowhead, right? What about when it's time to go to Baltimore? Yeah, you won there last year in a very exciting game. And I like the player a lot. I'm just saying I hold the coach a lot. I'm saying I still hold the right to reserve an opinion on Mike McDaniels. Now, I can make an opinion on Dan Campbell. I knew the Seahawks were going to come in there and beat them yesterday. Not that the Seahawks are that much. I think the Seahawks are a better team than the Lions. Not that the Lions are trash or the Seahawks are great. But when you look at the sidelines, when you look at the two sidelines, on one sideline you got Pete Carroll, on the other sideline you got Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is losing 75% of the coaching battles he's in this season. He's not an elite head coach. He's a decent head coach. And I think you see that at time to times. Is that going to cause the Lions of points this year? Yeah. The Lions are another one of those teams. The Lions are closer to like the Saints and the Panthers than they are to the Cowboys and the Eagles. Don't get it twisted. And Dan Campbell's the reason behind that. Yeah, he's well-liked, but is he really that good of a head coach? I think that's yet to be determined, and I'm more than likely going to say no to that one right there. Now, I had a couple of guys that I have been, a trio of guys really, that I have been, well, a whatever a four version, a quartet, a quintuplet, whatever. I got four dudes that I've been very critical of in my sports talk analysis of the NFL. Four guys that play the position that gets the most attention, the quarterback position. I was critical of Lamar Jackson, showing Jackson some tough love this past week over there on my YouTube channel at the Fantasy Executive, because I was like, he ain't elite, playing elite no more. I know eliteness is still in there, but he wasn't playing elite. Well, he was elite this week versus the Bengals. Jackson ran the football well. He threw the football well. He was a leader. He went out there and got the W. One thing you cannot hold or say about Lamar Jackson, he don't lose football games. It may not be pretty at times, but the teams get the win. So I gave Lamar Jackson some tough love last week. He responded, not only got the win, but a good statistical performance. Want to see that from Jackson to feel better about where he was as an elite quarterback in this league, which he 100% is. Next guy I was giving a hard time to was Josh Allen. And I reserved the right to give Josh Allen a hard time and still give him a hard time, but he was fantastic this Sunday, torching the bum-ass Las Vegas Raiders. You saw everything you like about Josh Allen, the accuracy, the range, the toughness, the leadership, no crying, no voice cracking, no turning the ball over. Did it against the Raiders. Continue to do that, you know what I'm saying? And I think Josh Allen will be fine. And last week I said I thought Jordan Love was better than him. That was an emotional overreaction. I shouldn't have said that. Josh Allen still elite-ish. Still turn the ball over too much. But you know what? That was a nice step yesterday of regaining the confidence of your teammates. Now, I have called Dak Prescott everything but a child of God. 100%, I have. But you know what? So far at the start of the season, he looks good. 2 games in a row without throwing an interception. That's very good for Dak Prescott. And I'm not making fun of him by saying that. Completion percentage has been elite. He's playing football well, not turning the ball over, very efficient. So I like the way Dak Prescott's playing, and I know I've been tough on number 4. I've called him a fraud. I said he masquerades around as a franchise quarterback. Glorified ball distributor. But you know what? Dak, to start the season, you're getting it done. Got a matchup coming up against the Cardinals. Stay clean, stay fresh. You know you got the Eagles and the 49ers coming up later on this season. Those are going to be the big tests. But so far, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys is working. Dak, I've been tough. But when it's time to show love, I want to be that guy too. If I see it, I got to say it. NFL no cap, fantasy executive, got to tell the truth. And Dak Prescott's getting it done. Now, you know who's not getting it done? Justin Fields. This guy is a disaster. You know what? Maybe the Bears should have held on to that number 1 pick and selected Bryce Young. Or maybe if the Bears are terrible again this year, which it looks like they're going to be, they should just go ahead and draft Caleb Williams, or Drizzy Drake May, or Shedeur Sanders, or whoever's coming out, because it's not going to work with Justin Fields. This guy is still turning the ball over. And yesterday's turnover was horrible. He didn't run the football well. He didn't do anything well yesterday. And y'all got in the comments last week and told me, oh, no, give him a chance. He's going to be okay. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not going to be okay. The rushing yards and the fantasy stats could be there, but as far as being the leader of the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields is not the guy. This son of a gun threw an interception to Shaquille Barrett. He might as well have handed him the football. No. I'm not apologizing to Justin Fields. He doesn't deserve to be an apology like Dak Prescott and Josh Allen. When you stop turning the ball over, then I'll apologize to you and show you some love. But as long as I see it, I got to say it. And the truth of the matter is, you're not getting the job done, Justin Fields. You got to play better. People thought this team was going to be a team that could compete for a playoff spot. They ain't going nowhere near the playoffs. You might be the top of the draft again. Stop turning the ball over, son. Week 2 edition. NFL No Cap. Your boy Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, a.k.a. No Cap Corey. If I see it, I got to say it. We'll see you next week on NFL No Cap.